Greetings, especially you women out there. I'm realizing that I'm getting a bit older by each day, and I come to the conclusion that I have to start to dare contact women if I want to find the right one for me out there, someone to share life, someone to build a family with, and so on. I have some contact information here. Please take some precaution. I might not keep this forever, or it might get stolen or edited away from this movie or something, so take some precaution. But if you want to contact me in any issue, any task, any matter, anything, please try. I might not use the fields down here. I don't want to put a lot of energy into cleaning away bad comments and so on. I'm a little bit low in energy, I have a little bit bad health, and as a consequence, another thing you might have to cope with is that my house is a little bit smelly, and so my eye, and I don't even want us to waste a lot of time into that. I have other things I hope we can do together. Well, you might hear that my English is not very good, it smells too. That's true to other languages too. I was actually recently trying to follow this very nice web teacher that teaching Russian language and so in Spanish, and I'm not very good at Spanish. I might know a few words like que, like my name is Kenneth, something like that. No, Kenneth. Well, I might not have learned the full Russian vocabulary, but I really get in love with the great nation Russia too, and I plan to visit Russia very, very soon. So if you are from Russia and want to get in contact with me, maybe I won't get that information for my first visit, but I might visit Russia in the future too, so please, if you want, try to contact me. And if you're from some other part of the world, who knows, maybe one day. One thing I really hope to find in a woman, I hope you are a creative-minded person, maybe having a lot of projects at your own, but I hope we together might have some goals together, some projects going together. And one thing I should really appreciate and needed some help with, I'm a technical-minded creative person. I have a lot of other creativity too. I like a lot of other type of creativity. But I want to try to see if I can take some patterns, make some inventions, start some companies, or in some case sell the patterns themselves. And even if two thinkers are better than one, it's not very good if other people already own these ideas or have spoiled the possibility to take patents on them in other ways. So if you can help me with the investigation to find out the golden pieces among all my ideas, that would be very nice. I want to show you some of my creativity, but I don't want to spoil the patentability myself, so I had to make some compromise. And I selected to go with a team. I selected a team making Sahara Blossom or something like that. And for this I needed my own pictures. I didn't want to take other people's pictures if they wanted to turn on my video or criticize me. And I need some mangrove trees to show you can plant them out there to bind sand, and they will thrive in salt water. And you might add branches of other trees to make a tutti frutti tree or something to make fruit production if it would be no bad combinations. And I found this very nice branched tree to edit in Photoshop because we have no mangrove trees in Sweden. And I found it in a graveyard. So I sneaked in, even if there are signs saying things like, "You shall not disturb the dead ones, this is their resting place." I try not to be too provocative, but I get a second advice later. Well, there was this priest's son that was dead. No, it's not as strange as it sounds. It was actually a little bit later. It was 3 days later. I was strolling around in a woodland area, and I found a lot of stones with text on them. No, this time it wasn't a graveyard. even if it was a priest that had paid people to write a lot of wisdom on stone. And I recall one especially. In bad translated Old Swedish it was something like this. You, young ones, do not too hastily go into marriage. And you elderly one, please hurry. Something like that. I wish you had given me that advice just a little earlier. Yeah. Back to this with Sahara. A desert might seem as a place with very few resources, but there are resources there. There are energy in form of the sun, there are building material in form of the sand, there are water and other things in the sea, and so on. Let's start with a temperature difference driven motor. This is a simplified example of one. And let's say we need a lot of machinery and vessels to do a lot of the work. Let's start with an airplane with a very big wing area, painted black with some type of insulation that is transparent, and the heat that builds up there from the sun might give enough energy to propel the plane by a Stirling motor cooling off in the wind below and so. It might sound high up in the blue, but actually there are planes flying by solar cells and they are not very efficient. If you have a boat, you might use the temperature difference that may already be built up in the water and in the air. Maybe a Stirling motor is not very good here, maybe some other technology. If you have a machinery or a vessel that is too little to collect all the energy itself, let's say we want to build a lot of canals and ponds and so on. Then maybe a caterpillar, the size of the ones digging coal, might be good, but still it's too little to collect all the energy by its area. So by adding some parabolic reflective mirrors, giving a lot of heat to some type of collector, we might give this enough energy. And I have some technology to make very efficient, very big, very easy to build big scale parabolic mirrors, but I don't want to go into that here. They might be used to other things, like burning the sand into glass or some ceramic building blocks, or even as a 3D printer to print out details for bridges and houses and so on and so on. So the infrastructure might be able to build there at the spot nearly. And if people want other things than fruits, maybe they want to grow some vegetables, then they need soil, and if they are ready to work very, very hard, they might bring back some soil from deposits in the sea, from things that have been flooded out and blown out by the wind. Of course, they have to desalt it, and they have to take care they don't destroy the fishing industry and so on. Then they need a lot of water. One way to do it is to have a temperature difference driven pump that pumps in a lot of salt water into a very big black container heated by the sun. And when the water goes into vapor, it leaves the salt behind, and then the vapor might go through cooling pipes in the sea. And the pressure from this might get the water up to a very high level. If you want to drink that water, maybe you have to add some minerals to make it fresh water. But the plants might take that directly from the sand. A nearly opposite way to do this is to have a permeable membrane that filters away the salt. And if the sea level with salt water is very high up compared to the fresh water, the pressure itself might make water pour out of this, and then you might have to pump up the water to where you want it. Or you might use a pump to push it directly through this membrane, and then you have to back flush it to clean it and so on and so on. I won't go into everything here. There are a lot of things you can do. If you like what you hear, or you want to contact me in any other issue, please do so. I really need a woman in so many ways. If I have a little time left here, I might add that little Russian song. It's actually me singing. I edited so hard, it might have messed up the lyrics and the song with a lot of filters and so on, but it is me singing.